Grenada's Prime Minister wants more discussion on his country adopting the Caribbean Court of Justice as its final court. And in sport, West Indies women suffer a series whitewash. I'm Ricardo Robertson. This is Caribbean in 10 for Monday, March 26th. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Say you miss me, Joe. Hey, Jamal, do you ever call mom and dad?
Well, you know they no longer take my calls. If they did, they would have known that you have not been sleeping in my house lately.
Jamal!
Why would we need that?
I know my safe period.
Safe period.
I've heard about it somewhere, but I didn't understand. It has to do with the time during our cycle when we can't get pregnant. But even then, you can still catch something.
Now you're gonna try to get 12 equal pieces. Pieces of dough into the buns. I'm just gonna place it on my baking pan. As yet, you'll have to let them cool for about 15 to 20 minutes or so. So I'm gonna brush on another mixture on top.
Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell is calling for a reopening of dialogue on the Caribbean Court of Justice. He made the call during his speech at the swearing-in ceremony of his new cabinet yesterday. It came less than 2 years after the electorate voted to reject a referendum to change the country's constitution, which contained a clause that the Trinidad-based court be made Grenada's final court of appeal. Mitchell told the gathering that the dialogue on acceding to the CCJ relates to its independence and to national identity. Most CARICOM countries are signatories to the original jurisdiction of the CCJ, which also functions as an international tribunal that governs the 15-member regional integration movement. But only Barbados, Belize, Dominica and Guyana have signed on to the appellate jurisdiction. Grenadians voted against the CCJ by a margin of 9,492 in favor as against 12,434 against. And Mitchell said then that he regretted the defeat for the CCJ, noting that he should have done more to encourage voters to accept the court as the island deepens its political independence from Britain. Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse has led the country in expressing condolences to the families of those reported missing and presumed dead after a boat carrying 17 people sank in the Canal de la Tortue off the northern coast of Haiti over the weekend. Moïse says a search is underway to find the bodies of the victims and the survivors of the tragedy. The incident occurred last Saturday evening in the waters between the Turtle Island and the coast of Haiti. According to media reports, at least 12 people, including a Roman Catholic priest assigned to the Sacred Heart parish on Turtle Island, are missing and feared dead. The St. Lucia Fire Service is investigating the cause of a fire that destroyed the Folk Research Center, the FRC, that houses the most extensive collection of the island's cultural artifacts and history. The blaze last night destroyed the building housing the FRC that was established in 1973 as repository for cultural heritage, a vehicle for research, study, recording and promulgating St. Lucia's rich heritage. It housed an extensive library of publications, visual recordings and photographs, and is the major study center for work carried out into St. Lucia's folk culture by both nationals and visiting researchers and students. The SLFS said when they arrived on the scene, the building was engulfed in flames, and despite the best efforts of fire officers from Castries and Gros Islet, nothing could have been saved. The Inter-American Development Bank says countries in Latin America and Caribbean require an ambitious growth agenda that focuses on overcoming large gaps in investment and productivity. A report released on the final day of the IDB Annual Board of Governors meeting noted that while the global economy faces potential risks from a higher interest rates and a correction to global asset prices, the region's overall outlook is positive, with a 1.9% growth rate expected this year. This, however, is well below the growth rate expected for the world of 3.9%, and Latin America and the Caribbean will continue to lag unless substantial policy changes are enacted on the economic front. The report, titled A Mandate to Grow, notes that past drivers of growth such as positive demographic trends, increasing commodity prices, and available fiscal stimulus space are either reversed or restricted. Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next. West Indies women ended their tour of New Zealand yesterday in the same way they began, with another defeat and a comprehensive series lost. Sent in, the Caribbean side looked in good shape when captain Stefanie Taylor smashed 42 and teenager Hayley Matthews 40 in an exciting opening stand of 60 of 44 deliveries. Deandra Dottin got her first significant score of the series with 33, but off spinner Leigh Kasparek's 2 for 19 and speedster Leah Tahuyu's 2 for 27 clawed things back for the White Ferns to limit Windies women to 139 for 5 of their 20 overs. Wicketkeeper Katie Martin then extended her excellent form with an unbeaten 54, while Amy Satterthwaite weighed in with 43 as New Zealand stormed to their target in the 17th over. The series was a wretched one for the Windies, suffering a whitewash in the 3 one-day series before losing the T20 series 4-0, with the fourth in New Plymouth abandoned without a ball bowled due to rain. And a software glitch by Mercedes cost pole sitter and reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton victory as main rival Sebastian Vettel took the checkered flag in the season-opening Australian Grand Prix yesterday. The 33-year-old Brit led the early part of the race and seemed on course for victory until the activation of the virtual safety car following the retirement of the Haas pair of Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean. The miscalculation on the part of Hamilton's team saw Vettel emerge from the pits in the lead, an advantage he maintained despite constant pressure from the four-time world champion. In the end, Hamilton finished 5 seconds behind in second with Vettel's Ferrari teammate Kimi Raikkonen and the Red Bull's Daniel Ricciardo, who's finished fourth. Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff said it was no fault of Hamilton, but the software or system they've been using for 5 years simply read a wrong number. The next Formula One race is in Bahrain on April 8. And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.